Namaste. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Sadhana, and I'm here to do live readings for you today. I want to wish you light and love and joy as you continue to move through the energy of the solstice. And today I want to recognize both all of you in the Northern Hemisphere celebrating and moving into the energy of summer, as well as those of you who in the Southern Hemisphere moving into the energy of winter. And I think as a reader, this can also bring another whole other dimension to your readings, is to start to expand and understand that we're not all, on the same latitude. We're all not on the same longitude either. And so we have these subtle energies of geographic location that affect how we can interpret what the information that's in the cards in front of us. So I'm going to be sharing all of that with you today. So I am an intuitive reader and intuitive healer, and I'm usually here live on Tuesdays doing live readings. So please feel free to put your questions into the chat. I want to say welcome to Dancing Soul Sister and Leafy. Glad you're staying. Dancing Soul Sister. Scott, Scorpio Moon Tarot, hello. Hashtag Tarot, hello. Welcome. Welcome, Lily Valley. Nice to have you back again. And Joel, hi again. Mystics Haven, welcome. Gerald, hi. Thank you for being here this morning. This is one of my favorite. I have a lot of different wraps. Sometimes I wear them as sarongs. Sometimes I wear them around my shoulders. But I love fabric. Hello, Snow Fox Tarot. Welcome. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about where we are, because I think this can help to inform the energy of the season. And today I'm going to use the Wildwood Tarot. And all of this information you can find in a series. Thank you so much for the super chat. I can't see who the super chat is from. There we go. It's from Andy. Welcome. Welcome, and thank you, Andy. Welcome and thank you for that. I appreciate it. And the reason what I was saying is I did an extended series on the Wildwood Tarot. And if you're interested in this deck, please go back and have a look at that series. And I'll make sure that I link it in the description box below later. But where we are in the Northern Hemisphere is in this shift between spring and summer. But we're also at this pinnacle energy of the sun, the pinnacle energy of the sun. And I know we are not quite in Leo season, and that this card is also associated with that. But in this particular deck, the energy of the sun sits at midsummer. It sits at the time around June 20th, June 21st. And so it is very, very strong. And so if this card comes up in a reading today, it would indicate a deep connection with this energy and an alignment with the seasons. Also, the green man and the green woman are here overseeing this particular cross quarter, this quarter mark, right? The solstice. And we have the union of the divine feminine and the divine masculine energy weaving their magic to work with us at this time, connecting us deeply with a reverence for the earth. And for those of you that are in the Southern Hemisphere, you're in the pinnacle of the lunar energy in this deck. And so this is a time, an inward time. There's an egg in the water here. Something is wanting to be revealed in the luminosity of the full moon, which is going to happen in a couple of nights. And so really lean into that energy. One of the beautiful meditations and the extended guidebook for this book is a meditation. I'm not sure what it's in. One of the three books. There's three different guidebooks for this deck. Is for the Great Bear, and there's an ancestral meditation that takes you into this particular cave, tomb, if you will, and to be in that cold darkness to look at the markings on the walls and to listen to the messages of the ancestors. It's a beautiful, beautiful journey if you haven't done it. But for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, if these cards come up, these would connect a deep connection to your, what do I want to say? One of the things I like to look at in the tarot is if cards come up that are in sync with your astrology, they're in sync with the seasons, it means that you are doing well on a very superficial level, right? And so if you can get to know about a little bit about timing in tarot, this is a really helpful skill to have, okay? And I'm doing a little shout out for myself. So I teach a course about timing in tarot and how to incorporate cycles and seasons into that. And the next time I'm teaching that class is in August, I believe. I don't know if the dates are right here. Yes, they are right. So if you're curious about this, this is a course you might want to sign up for. Okay, so going back to the Northern Hemisphere. So those of us who are in the summer season, these energies are very strong right now. And then there's a lot of other associations that I'm just briefly going to touch on. So if you see these cards come up in your reading, you'll recognize this connection. So the World Tree is also a deep connection here. And as far as court cards go, we are shifting from the archetype of the Queen of Fire, the Queen of Bows, to the Knight of Bows. Okay, so these would be auspicious cards if they should come up in a reading today as well too. And the minor arcana that sits at this time is the Six of Bows, right? So in a RWS deck, this is called Success. And in this deck, it is Abundance. And Abundance sits opposite the Six of Stones for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, which is exploitation. And this is a really interesting relationship in this deck. And that is that if we are not mindful of all that we have harvested in the summer, if we're not mindful and have wise practices with the land, the earth, and energy, then we will not have enough stores. We will not have enough to carry us through the winter. It's a really, really fascinating relationship between the Six of Fire and the Six of Pentacles, right? The Six of Wands, Six of Pentacles in this deck. And opposite the World Tree, so in the Southern Hemisphere, this has a real energy of potential. Okay, so with the embracing the moon energy in the winter, so if you've just celebrated midwinter solstice, we have this opportunity through deep lunar reflection to wander into like it's an awakening. It's a new opening for you. And I know that spring is some time off, but it's the beginning of that for you. And so to get really, really curious about what might be inside this egg. Yeah. Love, love, love the nuances of this deck. And I'm just going to show you that I'm going to put everything back. So one of the things when I've pulled out specific cards, what I do is, and I do this after your readings as well too, is I make sure I don't just shuffle. I kind of put things back in a way that, what am I doing? So everything gets mixed up because, yeah, anyway, you don't really need to know this, but just showing you. That I'm not stacking the deck. If you're concerned about that, putting everything back. So now, keeping all of that in mind, I'm going to get to your questions. And what I would like to know is if you are in the northern or southern hemisphere when I get to your question, and because that will definitely affect your reading. So what I should do then is open YouTube so I can see that. Yeah, so welcome to everybody else that's coming in. It's really nice to have you here. There we go. Okay. Okay, so did I say hello to everybody? Who else has come in? Nadia. Hello, Nadia. Nice to have you here. And Karen's here. Welcome to Karen from Victoria. And Lena. Hi, Lena. Lovely to have you here. Shannon as well. Hello to Shannon. Okay. Let us go to the first question, which is Leafy. Leafy. How will my connection with J evolve? How will my connection with J evolve? Okay. So when it's your turn for your reading, take a moment to get quiet. Take a moment to just contemplate your question. If you can sit down and stop what you're doing, that'll make your reading even more, it'll make it easier for me to connect with you as well, too. Okay, take a drink of water. And please know that I appreciate your insight into these readings as well, too, because it's wonderful how we can support one another in these readings. Okay, one more. I also just love shuffling, so. All right, so this is for Leafy, and Leafy's asking, okay. This is a beautiful card to have come up at the start, right? So this is the most, the Queen is really the most embodied. This is the suit of water, the suit of cups, right? So the Queen is definitely, I feel she's the most embodied energy of this suit. But the King here, the King is a heron. The King is sitting strong and solid, looking, not afraid to examine his reflection in the water. And so I feel that just with this one card, that the relationship will, the E quotient, right? The EQ of this relationship has the potential to be very healthy and very deep. There's a wisdom, there is an intuitiveness to the heron here as well, too. So I really feel that it's a very positive card to come up. It's really nice to have the strength of that card. Okay, and then we have a card. This keyword is frustration. So this is the 5 of air, the 5 of arrows. And, okay, so I hope you were here at the beginning. So you saw it's quite auspicious that the 6 of bows is turning up, but I want to speak to this challenging card over here as well too. Okay, so the fact that the 6 of bows is showing up shows, so 6s represent harmony and beauty and connection and balance in the relationship. And I feel like the card on the left is a reality check. It's a reminder that we cannot get complacent in a relationship ever. Right? We need to be very mindful and very focused. And the 5 of arrows is about not wasting energy. Don't waste energy, right? And energy could be, so this is arrows, right? So this is thoughts. We tend to get we waste energy worrying. We waste energy scattering needless mental chatter in different directions. All of these thoughts, all of this needless mental chatter takes away the potential of the energy that we can use for other things. And so the 5 of arrows is a reminder to calm down, to focus, and to really look at what's important in this relationship. And if you can gather your mind together, this relationship will be really beautiful. Right? You have 2 very auspicious cards, but this card here to me looks like the challenging aspect of this relationship. Okay. Yeah. A very beautiful card on the bottom of the deck, which is the star, the pole star. But this on the bottom of the deck would represent the challenging aspect of the relationship. So for me, this is about you, right? This is not necessarily about Jay. This is about you. This is about the relationship. And again, this is a card of focus. And so if this is on the bottom of the deck, this tells me that you probably have a challenging time staying focused and staying on path. You are easily distracted, perhaps. So keep your eye on the light and all will be well, because these are really beautiful cards that surround you. So I hope you can, if you do not have any practices to help you with scattered mind activity, please reach out, because I have lots of resources for that as well too. Okay. All right, let's go to the next question. Where are we at? I'm just gonna pause them as I go through, because they tend to jump. And I want to thank Andy again for the super sticker. That's really sweet of you. All right, so here we go. Mystics Haven. I should get out my little book. Let me get out my little book so I can remember. Oh, it's not that book. Okay, I don't have it here today. That's okay. All right, I believe it's Teresa. You're welcome, Leafy. Hello to those of you coming in. I see Dana is here as well too. And Donna. Hello, Donna. Okay, so general guidance for Mystics Haven. What else does it mean to be at the solstice? What does it mean to be in the longest night or the longest day? These are really beautiful reflections, and I encourage you all to take some time to, we're still within 72 hours of that, the pure potential of that energy, and so take some time to reflect on what that means for you. And Leafy, I was speaking to the northern hemisphere, so I'm hoping you're in the northern hemisphere. If you are in the southern hemisphere and I'm answering your question, please let me know again. Okay, Mystics Haven. Love this card. Okay, love this card. This card is continuation, I suppose, or it's like another reflection on that 5 that I was just speaking to. And there's a little bit of the 8 of Swords energy in this from an RWS. But, one of the beauties of this card that I see is the surrender. The surrender and the way, just the pose of the body, the way this body is leaning back. Love that this is a green dress. This feels like so connected. But there's an aspect indeed of insecurity, and there's an aspect of not trusting life. Not trusting life. I'm wondering if you did good enough. There's always this mental chatter around self-deprecation that is important to address as well too. Okay, so let's build on this theme and pull a couple more cards. So we have the Ace of Stones, which is the Ace of Earth, and the 3 of Vessels, so the 3 of Cups as well too. Okay. So this insecurity, this lack of trusting yourself could definitely be related to the potential. So the potential of the Ace of Stones is to grow something in this material world, to buy a house, to build a house, to set down a foundation for a family, to connect with ancestors. There's so many different ways we can connect here. The Ace of Stones is deeply planted in the earth. And so one of the medicines I see of the Ace of Stones in response to the Seven of Arrows is one, to go back to your roots, to go back to the earth, to connect to the earth, to be with the earth, and to allow something to grow from the earth. This is a very earth-based deck. It's not, I mean, there's aspects, of course, of money and pentacles and growing businesses and so forth in this suit as well too, but we have that, the way to, like, this sounds so mundane, but it's funny actually. The way to acknowledge this is to look at this green dress. Look at this green dress. It's kind of tattered and worn. Maybe you need a new green dress. Isn't that funny? Maybe you need a new green dress. Yeah. What is this insecurity? I'm really curious, Teresa. What is this insecurity about? Because that might help me with the direction. Okay, good, Leafy, you're in the Northern Hemisphere. Because that, it's important, because I don't feel like you can really embrace the energy of the Three of Cups, or perhaps you have denied the energy of the Three of Cups. Perhaps you have been afraid of connection, afraid of connecting with other people at a heart level. You know, there's a really beautiful, that's my dog Amber drinking her water in the background, if you're wondering what that weird noise is. There's a beautiful connection between the Ace of Stones and the Three of Cups. And if we can put those two energies together, we have something to honor, something to celebrate. There is a building of emotions. It feels like a building of a relationship and a building of connection. But it's like you don't feel like you deserve it, or you don't feel like you're good enough. And so I want to go back to the whole notion that the suit of arrows is of the mind, this mental chatter. And so we need to still this mental chatter. Because you deserve the beauty, you deserve the celebration, you deserve the growth and expansion that is awaiting you. Okay, so treat yourself well. I almost feel like this. Can we go really simple here and just say, like I said, get yourself a new green dress? Buy yourself something. You deserve it. You deserve to be, you deserve everything that you want. Like, shoot big, be brave, and be really, really kind to yourself. Okay? Okay. Alrighty. Thank you for that endorsement, Gerald. I appreciate it. And these are, of course, free videos, free lessons on the Wildwood Tarot. And I really love the layers and layers of this deck. Okay. Happy to answer this question, Joel. So why don't, okay, this is a really good question. I mean, I don't think that, because every tarot reader has a different style, has a different way. And there's a reason that you're watching me today. And there's a reason that you watch, I don't know, like Tara at Kitson and Waits on a different day on Saturday. You like her bubbly energy. Or you like to watch Mitchell Osborne in a certain day because he has a certain style and he is a certain way, right? And on Instagram, we don't get that personality of the person. So we need to show our personality through the description, through the style of the photographs and so forth. And if you have so you show your personality through that. So I think I wouldn't worry about the saturation of tarot Instagram posts. Okay, so that's something. But what I want to do, Joel, is I'm going to pull a couple cards and I'm going to look at this purely from a seasonal perspective. And the question I'm going to ask is, what is the optimal time? What is the optimal time for Joel to start his tarot Instagram page? Okay, because this is a really good deck for asking those kinds of questions. And then we can also see why that is. Okay. Okay, so on a basic level, this would say, whenever you want, go for it, jump off the cliff and start it now, right? So this is not a card of warning. It's a card of going forth. So go forth, right? Like I said, wasn't the last one, go forth, young grasshopper, right? Okay, we do here have a very specific timing message for you. And I asked for a timing message from the deck. Okay, and I know you are in Sweden, so you're in the northern hemisphere. And we have the Wanderer, and we have the Six of Stones, and we have the Eight of Stones. So this message, Joel, is midwinter solstice. Midwinter solstice. So that would be the optimal time. So just before Christmas, that would be the optimal time for you to start your page, like a celebration page around the midwinter solstice. And maybe that will give you time to plan some content. Okay. So this is one way that you can work with this deck, because every single card in this deck is associated with a date and a time. Dancing Soul Sister. My soul's calling is to follow the path of divine feminine. I'd love to receive some advice for my journey in this direction for more joy and fulfillment, please. Of course. Happy to share that with you. And I feel like I'm going to, for you, Dancing Soul Sister, I'm going to kind of switch this up a little bit. Okay, and do I have the guidebook available? Yes, I do. Okay, and hopefully I will get a goddess that I know. So what I'm going to do for you, Dancing Soul Sister, is I'm going to pull one Dark Goddess card and 2 cards from the Painted Tarot, because it feels like these decks will better answer your question. And I want to make sure, I don't think Kali is in here because I took Kali out. I believe she is in this pile. I need to remember when I'm using decks to put the tower cards back, because that's another video that's happening. Okay, so Kali is back in here. All right, so let's focus on the divine feminine energy and ask the mother some advice for Dancing Soul Sister's journey for more joy and more fulfillment. Okay. That was an interesting cut. Okay, so I've got Ariane Rod at the center, which is the moon. And the reason that I wanted to pull a card from this deck is so that you could have a specific goddess, perhaps a goddess that you haven't worked with, to look into her energy. Okay. And look, I'll read you, if you don't have this deck, I'll read you a little bit. Oh, I can't riffle shuffle this deck. I love riffle shuffling, and Painted Tarot is another one that does not riffle shuffle as a whole deck. Okay, so what I was going to say with the energy of the moon is to, it feels like, now this feels like a counterintuitive message, because when we work with the moon, when we work with the moon energy, we can feel quite heavy, right? We can feel quite heavy because the shadow can arise, challenging things can arise. And so you are looking for joy and fulfillment. And perhaps leaning into the energy of the moon will help you to release that which is holding you back. And when we come into the energy of the full moon in the next couple of days, I would encourage you to do a little bit of a moon ceremony to release whatever it is that is ready to leave your energy body. Now, if you don't know what that is, then you simply put that into a prayer and you allow the Divine Mother to take charge of that. And perhaps you specifically call in Ariane Rod and allow her energy to support you at this time. Okay? All right. So 9 of Wands and Page of Coins. Oh, wow. Look at these two decks together. Beautiful. Okay. 9 of Wands. So I want you to acknowledge the warrior-ess that you are. I want you to acknowledge the strength and the passion that you possess. And take a rest. Take a rest. Take some time. Take some time to lean into one of the things I love to do in my meditations is to really feel the physical body connected to the earth as the earth mother, and lean into the earth and allow the physical weight of the body to create an impression in the earth so that you feel held. Now, I would encourage you to do this near the water. If you can get to a lake or get to the ocean, because this particular energy came up, I would do this at the water. This may also help to cool the energy of the 9. Okay. Now, with this page showing up here, I'm going to say that this might be a business adventure for you. There may be a way, and okay, here's another message for you. Connecting with young women to grow their spiritual practices. And there may actually be some financial reward for you in this. Now, I want to see if Ariane Rod is in any way connected, what her stick is, because that might also give us one little bit of information. Okay, so she's the Welsh goddess of the moon. And I need to scan this really carefully. She is a shapeshifter who often appears as Owl of the Night, the owl who sees in darkness. She is living alone or surrounded by enchanting otherworldly women. She enjoys her sexual encounters with men, however, especially with mermen in the ocean. Like other Celtic goddesses, she has singularity that embraces duality. She is the mother of 2 magical children, although the tale that survives of her birthing them by stepping over a wand is strange indeed. Oh, she is the mother of Lou. Interesting. So Lou is who the Llewellyn Company is named after, and Lou is the figure who is pictured on the Sun card in the Llewellyn Tarot, which is really, really cool that Ariane Rod gave birth to Lou. Okay, love that connection. Her silver wheel is the wheel of time, both of seasons and reincarnations. It is also the wheel of the night of the zodiac and the eternal circles of the North Star. Okay, there's so much good stuff here. I don't want to take the time to read all this, but what I feel intuitively is that you have a potential. So this card here is one of embracing your strength. This one, the Nine of Wands, to embrace that that you are the lead. It's like I feel like you're a leader, like you're a warrior. You are a hero. You are a very strong figure that other women can follow. And there feels like something inspiring, something intuitive, something spiritual that you can share with other young women. And perhaps this has to do with holding moon circles, to holding celebrations, goddess ceremonies, and so forth. But this is not a card of you standing back and holding back. It's about you going forward. And I love how the Page of Coins is like embracing this energy. This is a beautiful, beautiful reading. So take some time to reflect on this. And thank you for reaching out today. Hello to V. Kestrel and to Mark. Welcome. All right, let's go to Andy the Wildflower. Let's put Ariane Rod away. And I'm going to go back to the Wildwood Tarot. Okay. All right, so advice for the relationship with JB. Okay, advice for the relationship with JB. Oh, Dion is here as well too. Hello, Dion. Okay. I love that. Andy the Wildflower. So wildflowers are incredibly prolific, but their life is short. And sometimes they are biennial, which is really interesting, like poppies and so forth. Okay. Interesting card for this. So a whole bunch of stuff is coming up at the same time. When I do these readings, it's like bing, 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 bing. So many messages. Something's coming up in my throat, which I need to address, Andy. And that is, you are asking this question, but I feel like you're not articulating this with JB himself. And part of the chatter that comes up with throat chakra stuff, it always has to do with the intimate relationship. And these conversations are not easy. They are not easy at all. And so this is a huge, private conversation for you and me to have. But this is even getting stronger here. So I know I'm hitting a nail on the head here. And this is about you also taking the time to find the courage and the strength to have these intimate conversations with JB, so that you are both very clear about your wants and your needs and your passions and your desires and where you want this relationship to go. Like, you need to be really big picture about this. Now, the Seven of Stones is a very peaceful card. right? It's a card of healing. It's a card of, like, I feel like the master in the background is just over, if we look at this card as representing the relationship, it's like some master is sending love and light into the relationship. I also see this as you lying down and getting healed. And so perhaps this is just an important time for your own self-care. And in taking time for your self-care, you'll be able to find this voice that I'm talking about. That's one way we can look at this. This card also speaks to the same energy, right? So this is the Eight of Vessels. The key word in this deck is rebirth. And it's a time, I feel like the relationship is, if you are going to stay together, it's about taking the relationship to a whole new level, right? There needs to be a lot more honesty. There needs to be some more open conversations. And this is a pattern that probably needs to be healed within yourself. The ability to have these conversations, the ability to share these deeply personal emotions with JB. Because if you can't do it with JB, it's going to take some years to be able to do this with another. And you have an opportunity to do this with JB. If you love JB and you feel like you are soul flames, then he will have the patience and the openness to do this. Maybe the two of you need to go together on some kind of a couples retreat. I love that the balance card is here. So the balance is a card that comes up at Beltane in this deck, and it represents the union of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Right? It's a really, really beautiful card. So there's definitely some healing that needs to happen. But it feels like I feel like this card confirms the soul flame thing. It confirms that the potential of you two to grow together more tightly. Okay? Yeah. So thank you. Yes, you are right on point. Well, that's good to know. Okay. So take your time with this message. Alrighty, Gerald. The chat has skipped. I'm going to have to go through and just thank you for that again, Gerald. You're very supportive. Where are we at? Thank you so much, Lily. It's beautiful. All right, let's go to light of subconscious mind. What is your advice for tomorrow? And how could I improve myself to find new love? And tomorrow you celebrate. Okay. Hello to Regina Tarot. Working and listening. Okay, light of subconscious. Focusing on advice to improving yourself and finding new love. Okay, so improving yourself too. I would love to find other language around that. So that choice of word, I don't know if that choice of word is in translation, but there's in that word improve, there is a connotation that you're not already perfect. You're not already whole. You're not already great just as you are, And so when I listen to words like that, one of the things that I would suggest is for you to start to listen to that. because if you love you and all of your qualities, all of your quirks unconditionally, and you embrace your uniqueness and you embrace yourself just as you are, then other people will see that and they will move towards that light. So I would say the first step of the journey is to love you, to love yourself, just as you are. Just as you are. And of course you can grow and change. Of course you can do that. But there needs to be a deep respect for you, for all that you've been through, for your journey, both in this lifetime and other lifetimes. Okay. So what is the advice? Saying all of that, what is the advice for light subconscious mind tomorrow? My teeth hurt. My mouth hurts. What is that about? I was wondering if you could go to a singing circle tomorrow, but I'm not sure that's where we're going. Okay. All right, so why are we in the suit of arrows? All right, so wolf is the, this is a winter archetype. These are fall energy, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. The wolf is howling at the full moon. So notice, okay, this is actually, oh, this is cool. We have a full moon, we have a full moon. Howl at the full moon. I said something about my jaw. I said my mouth is hurting. What is the advice for tomorrow? The advice for tomorrow, the next day, we have this full moon, right, coming up. So to go to a full moon ceremony, maybe you'll meet somebody at a full moon ceremony, to fully participate in that. I'm drawn to the winter energy of these cards, and they feel slow, and they feel quiet, and they feel gentle, and they feel receptive, and like inner. They feel like inward energy. So I feel like the advice here is to not necessarily be too extroverted, but to be in reverence of the ceremony. So if you're going to like a henge, or you're going to some kind of a circle or a celebration, to be a little quieter. So there's something about that wintry energy that I feel. I wonder, with the Six of Arrows showing up, if you should go a little further. Like if you could actually travel to a celebration a little further away than you would normally go to. You know, like in the Six of Arrows, we have this energy of moving towards the unknown, going to a celebration, going to a festival that you've never been to before. Maybe one that you've thought, oh, I can't get there. I can't go there. You know, it feels like that. The Eight of Arrows, this whole suit of arrows, we've had a few of these cards today, is really about staying on path and finding focus. And this has to do with the scattered mind energy, scattered thoughts. So I want to encourage you to kind of bring in your, so let's focus on this festival, because I feel like you're supposed to go a little bit further to some kind of celebration where the moon is celebrated, where people gather. And it's not like a folk music festival where everything is rah, rah, rah. This feels highly spiritual. It's a little quieter. And if the energy of the event is not too quiet, it's important for you to be reflective and quiet at this celebration. Okay. And if you're not able to travel, how can you create this experience in your own environment? Right? Sometimes we don't need to go to the experience. We need to create the experience around us. So this feels like an important message for you. And then the other part of your question was, so, okay. It feels like you need to get to know yourself, or to trust. I think I said this at the beginning. This was something to do with this message of the voice that I was getting. So to take off your masks, to really allow and embrace you. That feels like the best message that's here today. You know, as far as how can I do that? Because that message was so strong for me, like empathically. And I don't know if that resonates with you at all, but these are, and we can find that. We can find that around the full moon time. Like the full moon time gives us a lot of, can give us courage to either release some of the shadow, release some of the darkness, or to face it and deal with it. You know, I mean, there's different ways to approach this. Okay. Thank you for these words about improving. You are true. I am learning to love myself constantly. And about tomorrow, I'm going to a big solstice party among musicians, and I have a little fear. Okay, so go in quietly. Go in reverently. I think that's a really good word for you for tomorrow. Reverently. Like find the sacred in the experience and just embrace the sacred in the experience. And it's okay. I feel like this card is giving you permission to kind of stay in the background. And maybe you will meet another soul in the background, right? It's not about getting up into the mosh pit. Thank you. Hey there. Okay, let's go to Dana. Someone ran a red light and oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, are you okay? You spent a day in the hospital. I have a head and neck injury and I'm off work this week. What lessons do I have to learn? Okay, so let's talk about this first of all let's talk about this matter-of-factly first. Okay, so car accidents. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at your car accident. I'm laughing because I know what I say here is going to cause some comments later on down below. People who don't believe what I believe. So please, if you don't believe what I believe, that's totally cool, right? I've been doing this work a long time, and it is entirely up to you to follow the path that you want to follow, or believe what you want to believe. But what I'm sharing here today is from my heart. It's from my experience. It's from the wisdom of elders. It's from guided energy. Okay. So car accidents happen. Car accidents, slipping and falling, like getting a concussion. We are sometimes stopped in our path because quite literally we need to slow down. There's a reason for this happening. And then the other part of this is that the extremity of the accident, the extremity of the car accident, is likely a result of you not paying attention to these signs before. And I'm not just talking to Dana, I'm talking to everybody. It is so important to listen to the signs, to pay attention to the signs. There's little signs along the way. An ankle hurts. You know, we have to listen. And if we don't listen, then we get hit by a proverbial car. And this is, it's so beautiful that Dana only spent a day in the hospital. And I'm hoping that is because the doctors, the medical team felt that she was well enough to leave, not because they were rushing her out and they needed the bed. So in big picture, we need to keep in mind that these car accidents and metaphorical car accidents happen for our greater good. And I hear that Dana is acknowledging that. Okay. So there's a few layers here. So there's signs that were missed along the way, but I want to, as I shuffle the deck, focus on Dana's big picture lesson, and then see if we can offer her some advice for that. And when I'm done with Dana's reading, I want to ask you a question. Hopefully I'll remember it. So when I'm done with Dana's reading, can one of you put in the chat, what did you want to ask us? I don't know. Okay. What is Dana's big picture? Big picture lesson. Okay. Love this full card. Where are we going here? We're going there. Okay. A do-over? A do-over, time off to reflect on taking a completely different direction, or moving, or quitting your job, or taking that vacation that you never wanted, that you never thought you were going to take. Okay, so this healing period, I'm just looking, I'm glad you're okay. So the healing part is really, really important. I'm just reading Dana's comment at the end of the chat. So our prayers and our, quite literally, like, healing energy is with you. But the lesson here is, it's beautiful that this Fool card came out. Like, this is going to give you an opportunity to move in a new direction, to start fresh. At the bottom of the deck is the Ace of Pentacles. Really interesting. So the bottom of the deck represents the shadow. And so this confirms what my suspicion is that you've been offered this ace before. And it's like the Ace of Pentacles, this, like, the Fool is the exclamation point of the Ace of Pentacles, right? This is like, it's time to start over again. Two of Bows. Okay, so this is maybe a very challenging decision for you, and it might create quite a heated discussion among family members, among loved ones, friends. But you know in your heart that you've wanted to make this shift for some time. And so you need to stand in your power and commit to making this change. Okay, so this is a big path that you are creating. And you know that expression about burning bridges?
So there may be resistance in this path. There may be resistance in this change. And so as you go forward with this change, this might, and there's no reason for me to think about going back to school, but I have a feeling intuitively that there's going to be some education involved in this as well too. And that this path will, it'll take the details and the steps along the way are really important, so that you understand the process. The process of the path feels important. Enjoying each stage of the journey, like not rushing into this. There's a need to commit to it, but it's not a. I was going to say, like, it's not like hopping on a jet, going somewhere and then getting to the destination. This is a lot slower, right? This is a step-by-step journey. Maybe that's why the education felt like some kind of schooling might be a part of this as well too. Schooling does not necessarily mean institutionalized schooling either. Yeah. So this time during your healing journey, you can reflect on a major change, a major shift in your life, a major new direction. And it's almost as if Spirit has given you the space, the permission, or I feel like Spirit is sometimes it's hard to find the words around all of this. The car accident is showing your employers, your family, your friends, whoever's involved in this shift, the serious need for you to embrace this. So the car accident wasn't just for you, it was for those who are all around you. You have 2 years left in your doctoral degree, but I thought I would keep the same job. It feels like definitely there's going to be a shift. Yes. Okay. So Dana, write down the day and the time of this. You can take a screenshot of the cards and then let us know. Let us know how you're doing, in 6 months or so. It's always really nice to have follow through on this, especially when we're looking at this more in a predictive way. Okay. I have time for one more reading, and I will go to Dion for sure. I just want to make sure I've said hello to everybody. I think we're almost near the bottom of the chat. Sophie's here as well too. Okay. Oh, terms, not years. Okay. Terms, not years. Alrighty. We've got quite a few questions left. I'll see if I can. Maybe I can do more than one. Let's. All right. I just want to make sure I've got all of the chat here. And I don't know if Gerald, okay. Gerald, are you still here? I've only got one admin here. Just going to add Gerald in case I need you. If that's okay, Gerald. I don't know if you're still here or not. Okay. Thank you for that endorsement, Shannon. That's lovely. Okay, so let's go to Dion's question. What can I expect this solstice to bring forth in my life? Okay. I'm going to answer Dion's question, and then I'll stay on just a little bit longer, and I will do one more after Dion's question. And please be sure, so if you haven't already liked the video, to like the video and subscribe to my channel. The notifications thing, I'm sure you're all aware, there's 3 levels of notifications, and if you're on your phone, it's a little more difficult. You have to go into the settings, but on a computer, you can easily choose which level of notifications. Okay, let's focus on Dion. What will Solstice bring forth into Dion's life? Dion, are you in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere? Just let me know, because the hooded man is a... Okay, so this is interesting. I feel like there's been a lot of readings today about that inward reflection. The light is important in this. I feel like there's been a theme of wands and walking sticks and so forth today. Notice the hooded man has his wand in his walking stick in his left hand. This is the intuitive side. The light is on the right side, right? The light is shining on the active side. The wand is in the left side. Whether the hooded man is standing outside the cave or moving into the cave is another thing. There's also the wren. I feel like the wren has a message for you as well, too. The wren is the herald of the next season of spring. Dion's in the US. Okay. Okay. So one of the things I'm picking up on here is that this is it's a 6-month journey, because this hooded man card is a card of the midwinter solstice. I feel like this is calling in a 6-month plan, like a 6-month undertaking, a 6-month commitment to finding your path, to finding your light, to some kind of inward reflection, a commitment to a meditation practice or something. This is about not starting something and then stopping. It's not about a weekend class. This is about signing up for something long term, perhaps something spiritual, something. I almost feel like that wren is just having a little chit chat with the hooded man. What is that wren saying to the hooded man? And perhaps all of this won't be revealed until midwinter solstice. Okay, 10 of Vessels, happiness, fulfillment, emotional fulfillment. Emotional fulfillment through an inward journey. An abundance of emotional fulfillment, like a healing of the emotions through an inward journey. Perhaps this is about going solo. Perhaps this is about, I don't know if you're married or you're in a committed relationship, but perhaps this is about, if you are in a committed relationship, this is about giving yourself permission to do something on your own, to commit to something you've always wanted to do that maybe your partner doesn't want to do, but to saying that this is the time for this. These are beautiful cards. And of course, the water reflects that subconscious energy. Okay. Dion, this may very well be connected to ancestral wisdom. Both of these cards, I don't know if you were here at the beginning, both of these cards are in this particular deck, they are highly significant at the time of the midwinter solstice. So it feels like they are, I almost feel like a magnetic line pulling you over this next 6-month period, guiding you to this. The other thing about the midwinter solstice energy and the Great Bear has to do with ancestral connections. Ancestral connections. Okay. So part of this inward journey and part of this peace and this happiness may very well have to do with that. You know, it could be something starting with an ancestral altar, but it could also be part of the journey to reconnecting with with one of the lines of your ancestry. You know, to spending time and to really commit to a healing journey through ancestral connection. That feels pretty powerful. These are big cards. These are big cards. Okay. Love that. Thank you for the super chat, Alexandra. So Alexandra, I will get to your question. I believe Mark is next. So I'm going to do Mark's reading and then I will get to Alexandra, and that may be it for today. I'll check the time after these two. Okay. Mark says, what is holding me back and how do I approach this if possible? Okay. Thank you all for supporting each other in the chat and the conversation. Alexandra, I'll look at your question. I'll work. I'll bring it up in a few minutes. Okay, so Mark, what is holding Mark back? What is holding Mark back? Okay. I feel like I'm in my head again, Mark, you know, like this is heady stuff. This is okay. I'm going to go a little bit out on a limb here and we'll see what other cards come up. In the back of this particular picture, there is a bonfire. There's a fire. And there is some smoke coming out of this fire. Okay. And this particular message has to do with connecting to the Ace of Bows. 7 of Bows, Ace of Bows. What is this message for you? The question was, what is holding you back? What is holding you back? One of the things that's holding you back, and I spoke to this card before, and I really feel this with this card. You know how you see this winding path? in this card. Like it's like this snake card in Lenormand, you know. Sometimes this, or just these kind of shapes, they're connected to the journey, like the river, right? The river as a metaphor. And so one of the things I feel with this card for you is that a commitment to not rushing, more exploration, more focus on the little things, more focus on taking your time, more focus on, you know, like being present. More focus on being present might really, really help. Okay. The other thing is that the Seven of Bows energy is right now. So summer solstice, Six of Bows is right at the line of the solstice. And then Seven of Bows is the next card. It's like the next step. So it feels like this is auspicious in the way that it is in alignment with the current timing. Okay, so I want to build on this message because there's a lot more going on here. We have the Six of Arrows, which is another repeating card, and we have the Eight of Bows. Okay, so we have two sequential cards here, the Seven of Bows and the Eight of Bows. And we have the Six of Arrows. So what might be holding you back is the fear of moving forward, the fear of the unknown. Okay, so let's talk about the fear of the unknown and why you might have that and how you might resolve the fear of the unknown. So when I think about fear, when I think about that, I think about family. And I want to go back to, I'm also just looking for something here in this book I want to speak to or share with you if we have time. When I think about fear of moving forward, this has to do with breaking family expectations or the fear of stepping away from, it might not be family, but it could be, you know, something in your environment has created a certain expectation. And there is this, I won't be loved. There's an energy of I won't be loved or I won't be accepted if I step away from this. Okay, so how can we move through this fear? Okay, so I just need to follow this whole thought process through. So this is a matter of really liking you, right? So in order for you to break away, you have to trust that you have to trust that you have the strength. You have to trust that you have the power and the fortitude to break away from the mold. So this suit of wands, this time of wands is one of action. It's, you know, you need to embrace your Superman. You need to embrace that internal warrior. Okay, so if you allow yourself to be guided towards, you know, we've had a lot of similar message today. This fire is calling to you, like this path is calling to you, like your priorities, not your family's priorities, not your boss's priorities, but what is your intention? Right? So you need to let go of the worry or the fear about what other people's expect from you. I don't know if this is resonating at all. Because there is another clan waiting for you. There is a clan of like-minded people. There's a clan, there's a group of people waiting to welcome you in. But you need to be brave enough to move towards that. Okay. I want to read you one thing, Mark. Okay, I don't know if you're still listening. And it has to do with this clearance card here. I love some of the things that Mark Ryan wrote in this book. He says, old boughs and stumps should be removed to ease the process of saying goodbye to a tool or a concept that has outlived its practical life. I think this is all metaphorical, right? By allowing the passing of the old and the clearing of the ground to take place with an element of welcoming and acceptance of change, the feelings of relief and poignancy may aid the healing process, giving comfort. Okay, so it's time for you to go forth. Okay. All righty. We're getting some really, really beautiful, beautiful messages today. I need to fold my beeswax candle under. It is it's been burning for too long. I need to fold it under. Otherwise, I'm going to have wax going everywhere. Okay. So Alexandra is next. Let me go to Alexandra. Okay. All right. And Mario, I acknowledge your super chat as well, too. So thank you for that. I will stay on to answer the super chat questions. I do appreciate the donations. You're welcome, Dancing Soul Sister. And you're welcome, Mark. I'm glad that was, that's good. I'm happy for you, Mark. You're very, very welcome. Okay, so let's go to Alexandra's question. Okay. Alexandra, the tarot loves to tell stories. And so you, in asking a yes or no question, you're limiting the expansiveness of the possible answer. So I hope you will allow me to expand on this question. So what I'm hearing from your question is, what is the mirror that I am reflecting, right? What is the image that I am reflecting? So because you're asking, what does he think of me? So what is he seeing? He is seeing what you are reflecting. So we take this a little bit deeper, and what we start, I'm going to start by saying, what is Alexandra reflecting? Okay. What is Alexandra reflecting? As always, we ask these messages be in the highest for the greatest good, and that no harm be done. Okay. I love how the man in this card is face down on the grass. It's really, really beautiful. Those 4 arrows are around him, almost in like a protective energy around him. It feels like you need to be cared for. You need rest. You need recuperation. You need integration. And through this rest and integration and recuperation, there is the potential for you to emerge as a butterfly, to emerge as this beautiful butterfly. But perhaps what, I'm just going to call him A. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that name, Ajan. What Ajan is, I'll say Ajan. I'm sorry if I'm messing up the pronunciation. What Ajan is seeing right now, perhaps, is not the strongest version of yourself. And this may be a message for you to focus on getting stronger, on getting healthier. Does that make sense? Right? So it's important to get stronger, to start to build yourself up again so that you can transform into this beautiful butterfly that you are. This is a lovely, lovely card to come up. So the balance card comes up at the time of Beltane. It comes up at the time of the lovers and connection. It's about a divine connection with the masculine and the feminine energy. And so the potential for the two of you to be together in a very spiritual way, a soulful way, is definitely there. But there seems to be some advice in this first card in that you would, this is lovely too, that it would be important for you to take some time for your own healing and restoration. This Four of Swords it's a beautiful card. It just means you need to look after yourself, to build yourself up, to build up your strength. And this might be your emotional strength as well too, right? You might have been dealing with a death or with a loss of something. And so this space, giving yourself this space to recover is important so you can be the best version of yourself for Ajan. Okay? And then the Knight of Cups it's a beautiful card. It's a fulfillment card. It's like it's the wish card. It's whatever you want, right? Your deepest desires and emotions it's a card of fulfillment. This deck, it's called Generosity, but it's full of love. It's full of love and light. Together, these two cards on either side are really beautiful for a potential gorgeous connection with him. Okay, so just make sure you take some time to look after yourself. Thank you, Alexandra. Okay. Hello, Jasmine. I would be happy to get to your question shortly. Thank you. I'm just going to go to Mario next. Thank you. I appreciate your super chats. Okay, so this is Mario. Okay. So again, Mario, the tarot loves to tell stories. It loves to weave stories. And what I want to expand on is what is the I want to ask, am I missing anything? Are you missing anything? Is there anything that you didn't see? So I want to kind of start with that because that can reveal a lot of stuff. That can be very, very helpful. So is there anything that you are missing? And then we'll see if the next cards have a next step to the reconciliation, or is there energy? Are there cards that reflect reconciliation? But I want to ask Spirit to reveal anything that you're not aware of, that might help with this particular situation. So let's hold Mario in light and love. Allow me to be a vessel for your words, for your wisdom. Okay. Mario, where are you located? And I'm hoping, I think it's Mario. I just need to double check if I'm saying the name correctly. Yes, it is Mario. Okay. So Mario and Toya. This is an interesting card to come up, Mario. So on a couple of levels, this Florida. Okay, so this might indicate Toya returning home. So I want you to think about the journey of the salmon, right? And how there may be a reason why Toya had to leave that you're not aware of. This is what I'm saying. Like there might have been some, and she may not have been fully aware of its complexity either. The salmon return home intuitively, right? It's in their DNA. They go home to lay their eggs. There may very well be a reason that Toya left that you're not aware of. So I think that's useful information. But also the Queen of Cups tells me that she's a very loving, intuitive, compassionate person, and I can understand why you would want her back in your life. 10 of Vessels. This is a card that came up earlier today. So, you know, it feels like we've had very positive responses in all of the relationship questions today. And this is partly to do with the energy of the summer season. And there's a lot of potential for growth in relationship in this season. So I would definitely embrace this. 2 water cards. So this feels like a lot of emotion on your part as well too. And that can be overwhelming. And so you want to make sure that you take time to balance all of that emotion with some physical activity and to keep yourself busy and healthy and active while you're figuring this all out. And then, oh, okay. So 3 cup cards. So 3 cup cards. So this is like 3 heart cards, 3 cards in the suit of relationship. So this is not a balanced reading. This is an inundation. This is a saturation of emotion, a saturation of water, right? It's a flood. It's a flood. This is a tidal wave. And sometimes this much emotion can be too much. So my advice with this amount of emotion is to give Toya some space, to integrate whatever happened between the two of you. Okay, because these are, because it's not a balanced reading. Although the Queen of Cups and the 10 of Cups are very fortuitous cards, they have a beautiful connective energy. It may well be that Toya needs to go off on, on her own path for some time. The relationship may have brought up too much emotion for her or for you. And so that there is some space that is needed. Do I see the 2 of you coming back together? Okay, so I want to pull one more card for you. I also want to look what's at the bottom. So on the bottom of the deck, which is the shadow card, is another cup card. It's a lot of water. It's a lot of water. It's a lot of emotions. So my best advice for you is that, 1, like I said earlier, to get busy, to get active, to use your body, to get creative, to use your passion, to really start to I don't want to say distract yourself, but to balance everything that you're feeling with activity. Okay, because we want to move through this. And also, if you need a counselor or if you need emotional support, to make sure that you reach out to someone. Okay, so I'm going to pull one more card to see if I can get a direct answer on yes or no. Will the two of you get back together after Toya has had some space to process all of this? And also, this emotion is definitely reflected in Mario as well too. So yeah. I would say yes. I would say yes, but I would say there's definitely space that is needed. And the reason I'm saying yes is there is so much hope in that sunrise in the background of the Four of Stones. If we look at this as far as the timing goes in this particular deck, this is, so this is after Halloween, this is early winter. This is, the Four of Stones is, it's about creating a foundation. It's about creating a home. So yeah, so I would remain optimistic. I would manage your emotions, get some support, give Toya some space, and yeah, just reflect on everything that I've said. So thank you, Mario. Okay. All right, where are we going now? We're going to go to Jasmine Silvestra. Okay, so this is a two-part thing here. You're asking about Daniel. You're confused about Daniel. And then you said, I also played a card game with my friends and had to call my ex. He didn't pick up. I'm worried he thinks I still think about him now. And what does he think? Okay, so you're asking about two different people. Two different people. Okay. All right. So after I answer Jasmine's question, I'm just going to put into the chat. Sorry, I just need to type this up. Okay. Readings are closed for today. So this is the last, these are the last two questions for today for Jasmine. Okay. So we'll do these one at a time. All right. So you're okay. So you're Daniel. Let's focus on Daniel first. And again, that is my dog drinking water in the background. If you hear this weird slurpy noise, I work out of my home. Okay, so let's focus on Jasmine and Daniel. Jasmine and Daniel. Jasmine and Daniel. My throat, again, I've got throat stuff coming up. It's important that you're not playing games with Daniel. It's really important that the truth is that you're sharing the truth with Daniel. Okay, so I don't know why that. We might have to look at those two cards. I've got a bunch of different cards that have fallen out, so I'm going to try to weave this together for you. There may very well be something below the surface. So Queen of Swords energy. I wonder, I was feeling, so again, I can feel my throat. I can feel that there's not, perhaps perhaps Daniel is not able to express his voice well. There may be some, I mean, the Queen of Swords energy should be able to express truth. Have you been listening is another question. Have you been listening clearly to Daniel's messages? I'm wondering about that. Okay, repeating card. 4 and 4. Okay. So the 4s in tarot indicate foundation, but also restriction and stagnation. And when I'm looking at the water underneath the swan, the water is definitely moving. This is not a stagnant pond. There's a little bit of stagnation here and not here. But we have 2 4s. And it feels like in both of these 4s, there's a lot of stillness. Not a lot is going on. Perhaps Danielle was not stimulated by the relationship and is not willing and doesn't want to be honest with you because he doesn't want to hurt your feelings, which is the Queen of Swords will tell the truth if they feel you are able to receive the truth. But perhaps he was feeling some stagnancy in the relationship. It wasn't exciting enough for him. It was too confined. Perhaps there was a clinginess or an another message for you is this, like the expectations were too high. You wanted a family, right? You wanted a home, you wanted a castle, you wanted all of this happening really quickly. And that might have been too much. That might have been too much. So my advice on this particular question is to get really clear about what it is that you want. And if you feel, I'm swallowing deeply here, this is something about words. If you feel that you did not express yourself adequately to Daniel, then take some time to write this down, to reflect on it, to get the language right around it. But my sense is that he was feeling he was feeling restricted. He was feeling restricted. Okay. So let's turn to the other question. Let's turn to the other question. Okay, so this has to do with your ex. And by the way, in the cards that fell, the cards that fell out of the deck was another 4 card and the death card. So I'm feeling like Daniel definitely needs some space, and I don't feel like he's going to reach out at this time. But now you have a little more information. Okay, so we're going to focus now on Jasmine and her ex. What is the energy around Jasmine's ex at this time? Okay.
Okay, so very different energy. All right. I also played a card game with my friends and had to call my ex. He didn't pick up. I'm worried he thinks I still think about him now. What does he think? Okay. So he didn't pick up because you needed him to answer a question about the card game. You needed some information perhaps. And you think he didn't pick up because he thinks he still thinks about you. What does he think? Okay. I think I got this. All right, so we're focusing on the X and the energy of the X, the mind of the X, the heart of the X towards Jasmine at this time. Okay. So much water here in this last few readings. I feel like all of these relationship readings today have been very, very emotional. Super emotional. Okay, so how are we gonna answer this question? Okay. Moon. Perhaps he's feeling you have an ulterior motive. So your suspicions may be correct. He feels that you have an ulterior motive for reaching him. He is suspicious of what lies underneath the water. So what are the waters underneath this? What are the emotions underneath this? And so I would definitely take some time. Now, what would be the best approach? What would be the best approach? Okay, 10 of Vessels is on the bottom of the deck. Are you, sorry, I have to play the devil's advocate. Are you being entirely honest with yourself? Do you still love your ex? Do you still have deep, deep feelings for your ex? Are you confused about your feelings with your ex? Because the Moon card is a pretty big card, and it invites us to look at our self. It invites self-reflection. It invites looking at our challenges. And one of the things I want to say, Jasmine, is that as we move towards the full moon tomorrow, the next day, that you really embrace the energy of the full moon. And this is a perfect time, and for all of you, for forgiveness ceremonies. Forgiveness. And so I want to tie these two readings together because I'm just receiving an important message for you. In order for Danielle to come back, in order for Danielle to contact you, it's important that you fully release the energy of your ex-husband or your ex-partner. There's emotional cords between you and your ex that you still wear on your sleeve, that you still carry with you. And Danielle recognized that. And so in order for you to be free and clear and to move to a next relationship, there's a few different things that you can do. One is to, under the light of the full moon, speak this forgiveness, speak the action of letting go. I fully release
my ex. I release this relationship. I forgive myself for ABC. I forgive my ex for ABC. Other parties that were involved. I send them all love and light and healing energy so that I can be free and clear to move forward into a new relationship, into a new healthy relationship. So it feels like these two questions are very interconnected. Does that make sense to you? And this often, I want you to know that this is not unique. This is often the case with a lot of relationship questions. And we can also, you do miss your friendship. Okay, well, that's really, yeah, that's very sweet. So, so the part of this message that I think is important is that the friendship that you felt with him is something that you want to recreate in another relationship. But in order to move into a new relationship, there's a part that you need to let go of, because you wear the love for him on your skin. You wear the love for him on your face, in your smile, in your words. Okay, so part of this process is learning to, I don't like the word compartmentalize, but to put the relationship with your ex into a very special container, into a very special place. And so that when you enter into your next relationship, or perhaps you have an opportunity to meet with Daniel again, it feels like you have space. Okay, so this is what Daniel was feeling, like you didn't have space, right? There's no spaciousness around you. It's like you're grabbing for him, right? And that there's this really interesting relationship between spaciousness and containment. And we need to find the balance between the spaciousness and the containment. So it's a big lesson for you. It's a big lesson, and something that you can journal on and work with over time. Okay? So thank you. I appreciate your super chat donations and your questions, because I think these are important questions for a lot of people, right? Relationships are tricky things. Yeah. So thank you all for being here today, and I really enjoyed. Thank you. You know, there's always a vulnerability in sharing your personal questions, and so thank you for trusting me and working with me today. And I look forward to seeing some of you next Tuesday when I'll be back for doing more live readings. Take good care of yourself. Happy solstice, midsummer solstice to everybody. Blessings for the midwinter celebrations for those of you in the southern hemisphere. And I'll see you soon. Namaste.